Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Okay, thank you so much for your patience. Um, that thing I wanted to fix, I still ain't fixed it, but I had to find a workaround. You probably won't notice the difference, but I know it's a difference. And it is working my last nerve. I don't know what happened, but for some reason, the way that I used to upload the slides is not working. So I'm doing a screen share. And I don't know if it's going to have to be like that from here on out. But anyway, it's all anecdotal at this point. And I say that like I know what anecdotal means, and I really don't, but I think I'm close. Uh, no kidding. I don't really know what that means, but I always hear people say that. Elaine Parker, thank you so much for being first, and thank you for being one of our moderators. Let's see. Humphrey, what is it? Convalius? I think I got that right. Let me see. Ella Parker, Novi D, Nathalando Niandini, thank you so much for being here. Rodney Jackson, Sonia Johnson, and a host of friends and others. So, yeah, thank you so much. This has been aggravating because it's just like I've always done it the same way all this time. And for whatever reason, I don't like when stuff changes like that. I mean, not that I don't like change, but I was kind of dependent on it, and it just really threw me for a loop yesterday. So I found a workaround, and we're gonna make it do what it do. Okay, but yeah, other than that, everything is up to date. Isn't that something? Last week it was the microphone, and this week it's this nonsense. So let me do that, and I hope this works out the way that I want it to. I just got to remember to do it different, and we should be okay. So, um, got a lot of stuff to share with you. Um, oh, I'm gonna have to make it a point to. Nope. Do I want to see that again? Yeah. You know, I don't know if this has happened to you all, but there has been times um, where I would. How do I put this? I would try to watch a documentary of some sort. And I don't watch so many of those royal documentaries because I realize that they are trying to reinvent the story, that they're changing the storyline, or revisionist history. They're revising the actual events to suit their narrative. Um, they have been hacking away at Princess Diana's legacy for years. And that is what they mean to have as part of the permanent record. And I hope that if nothing else comes from the Sussex squad, if we're not successful with everything else that we try to do, and that, of course, is setting the record straight, where Harry and Meghan is concerned, that at some point, as time goes by, let's say in 100 years, they will remember that they will know that the story that comes from the palace and all of the um, you know the courtiers, whatever the official record is, that it is not as represented by that institution, that there's another side to the story, but they mean to bury the actual events and create this narrative that sounds more like something from the Elizabethan era where everything makes her out to be the hero instead of the sovereign who initiated the transatlantic slave trade. That's that kind of thing. It's all the glory of battle and defeating Spain and such. But that little thing about the transatlantic slave trade and piracy and such, well, we don't need to confuse everybody with that, do we? Yes, we do. So, oh, hi, Berta Sanchez. It's been a long time. Uh, Wow, there's so many people from the day squad that I. Oh, by the way, Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker. And Connie Bomber, thank you so much for being here. Okay. Now, I am going to just get on with it. And instead of doing the slides like this, I do that. So far, so good. You won't even notice the difference if I'm lucky. Jacqueline Batimer. That is French. Jacqueline Batimer. Thank you so much for being here. Okay. Let me get over here. And I need to take a look at this. So this just came in. Let me see. 1901. No. Anyway, but this is from today. Doesn't Harry look so decisive and commanding? And dare I say, doesn't Harry doesn't Harry look like a global what is it? Global what was that William was trying to do? A global influencer? Well, clearly he's that. A global statesman. That's it. Doesn't Harry give you global statesman? And I mean to tell you, it reminds me of one of those big, I don't know, NATO meetings or something like that. Oh, wait a minute. That's because it is NATO. Ah, Prince Harry, a veteran of 10-year career veteran, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, is literally sitting there talking. Well, let me just get to it. On the 30th of October 2024, the Invictus Games Foundation briefed the NATO Military Committee at NATO headquarters on the role of Invictus in supporting wounded, injured, and sick service members and veterans. Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, addressed the military committee via VTC, with a delegation attending the meeting in person. The delegation, including Dominic Reed, Chief Executive of Invictus, Lord Allen, Chancellor of the Board of Trustees, and Richard Smith, the Deputy Chief Executive Officer. Now, if you don't know what NATO is like the most powerful military alliance in history. It represents the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. In the wake of World War II, as the Cold War started, an alliance of the Western industrialized powers, old friends and allies, Britain, France, the United States, etc., Canada, all of these countries joined forces to create this alliance, meaning that if we were attacked by the Soviet Union, an attack on one is an attack on all. So pretty huge. Anyway, and the commander of NATO, always an American, like 4-star general or admiral, whatever. They have the coolest job title in the world. The coolest job title, Supreme Allied Commander of the Atlantic Treaty Organization. Yeah, NATO. If you can't get a date, really, if you can't get some with that title, then it just ain't available to you. But that is one hell of a job title. I mean, huge, absolutely massive. Okay, so the delegation briefed the military committee on the breadth and development of the Invictus program and the progress it is making to expand the scope of its mission. The core purpose of Invictus is to support the recovery and rehabilitation of wounded, injured, sick, and service members through sport and adventure. The Invictus Games Foundation is working to continue establishing a global community where rehabilitation and recovery are better enabled and understood. This is primarily through the development of the Invictus Games taking place in different host cities every 2 years around the globe, but also through a multi-layered program beyond the games, which aims to build a network amongst global wounded, injured, and sick veterans and promote advocacy of Invictus. Meeting with representatives of the Invictus Games Foundation provided a platform for the NATO Military Committee to explore and learn how allied nations can establish or develop a relationship with the Invictus Games. Admiral Bauer emphasized the importance of protecting allied wounded service men and women, veterans, and their families. He highlighted the individual support and hope the Invictus Games Foundation provides to the unconquerable souls of inspirational wounded, injured, and sick service members and veterans. I believe the work of the Invictus Games is to be very important, and it strikes at the heart of our shared values as military personnel. Admiral Bauer conveyed the power of the Invictus Games Foundation in reaching far beyond the games themselves, changing and sometimes even saving the lives of both the wounded soldier and their families. Today's military committee session follows up a meeting between the chair of the military committee, Admiral Rob Bauer, and Prince Harry in May of 2024, where Admiral Bauer attended a service of Thanksgiving at the St. Paul's Cathedral in London. So there you have it. That is pretty cool. And if I recall, Admiral Bauer said some really, really nice things about Harry. Now, I'm not sure how this might work, but let me see if I can find that. Bauer. Yes, I do have it. I do have it. Let me share it with you if I can. Admiral Bauer says, "Thank you to Prince Harry," followed with a poem written by an Invictus team captain and her family.
Good afternoon. I am in London with the St. Paul's Cathedral at the backdrop. I just spoke to Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, and also the patron of the Invictus Games Foundation. We spoke about a cause that is very close to my heart, which is serving after serving. How do we take care of the military men and women that served the greater good and then, as a result, got wounded physically or mentally? The Invictus Games are unique in bringing the veterans and their families together to lift them up and to bring back the purpose. Sports can help with that. Sports allows you to focus, train, and work towards these new goals. But this is far beyond the veteran community, because there's so much in our society as a whole that is basically connected to resilience and to learn from the ability of veterans to overcome their problems and to find a new purpose despite being wounded. And I will do everything in my abilities to help with that cause.
The Invictus Games inspire the world through the power of the unconquered human spirit. Regaining their purpose through sport, veterans with visible and invisible wounds are role models of resilience. Thank you, Prince Harry, for championing serving after service. Okay, so there you go. I managed to bring that up. So I guess if I have to do this in this way every day, it should work out. But still, I like accessing my slides the way I did before. But oh well, it is what it is. This is different, but it works. So that's all that matters. Okay, so that is what the update was today for Prince Harry. And take a look there. This is a very powerful image. I love it. There's our Prince Harry, our son. I'm telling you, he's like a kid to me. So I'm very proud of him, and I'm very proud of Meghan, because they are really changing the world. They're literally changing the world. It seems so easy what they do, but it's really not. This is the result of a lot of planning and hard work. The trip to Colombia, absolutely flawless. And they were able to do that outside the control of the institution. And the same with Nigeria, absolutely flawless. And they were able to execute that outside the control of that institution. Now, remember, they kept saying, oh, Meghan doesn't get it. Meghan doesn't understand our ways, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. If you have the intention, you can do the work. It's like so many other things. How in the world does the United States, when it comes to charity, we're like, I won't say that we're above and beyond every nation, but when it comes to charity, and I mean the individual donor, the average American donates a lot to charity. And we are able to do this without a royal patron. Okay? How do we open up a shopping mall without Prince Edward showing up? Right? How do we do these things? How does any country do that? They just can. How does the French have the most visited nation in the world? More people visit France, I believe, than any place else when it comes to tourism. They don't have a royal family. They don't have a royal family, but somehow it happens. So Harry and Meghan have demonstrated that you can still have those titles, not even use the titles. I mean, Harry's name is Prince Harry. He can never not be Prince Harry. But you don't even have to use the titles. Harry is on that screen because they respect the work that he has done all these years. Harry didn't have to have his courtiers make this statement. By the way, Harry is moving into the global statesman era of his life. They didn't have to announce it. Nobody has to announce it. He just is. He just is. It's not a title that was given. He just is, because he's done the work. He's always done the work. The commitment has been there. When Colin Powell handed him that award all those years ago, and Harry was like, what am I doing here? I'm so whatever age he was at the time, because they knew. They know hard work and service when they see it. That's why they gave you the award. And all these years later, were they wrong? No. He's done 1,000 times more since then. Yeah, he's done 1,000 times more since then. So it makes the work that I do so much easier because the Sussexes are not only relevant, but they deserve the attention that they get, the positive attention. They deserve it because they're doing the work. And in this meritocracy that we live in here in the United States, void of an aristocracy, we do things on merit. Being rich and powerful is not a dirty word unto itself. It's not a bad thing. That means that somehow you've done the work. Now, you might be a manipulative backstabber on the way there, but you've done the work. That's why I say anybody can be president. You just have to be willing to be a little shady when it counts, and hopefully some of the good stuff gets through. Okay, so let's move on. But I just had to say that I love this photo. This is like, this image is going to just stay with me for a long time. I mean, I close my eyes and I'm going to still see Harry on this massive screen addressing military brass. I mean, do you realize? Let me stop gushing over Harry. But this is huge. This is huge. And the shady side of me is just like, gee, I wonder what's going on over at Kensington Palace right now. That's the shady side of me. But okay, let's move on. Let me stop being shady. All right. I can't stop smiling though, right? Okay, let me try to fix my mouth because my face is starting to hurt. But the corners, see, I got this little affliction right now. The corners of my mouth keep touching my ears because I'm smiling really hard. And I'm thinking about what's happening over at Kensington Palace. That's all. Okay, you guys, we got to move on. There we go. Now, let's get to some flammery and some nonsense. The future of the slim down monarchy. Now, I saved this from September 8th, 2022. Talk about something that has not aged very well. Has it? I don't feel as though it has aged very well. As a matter of fact, it's a bit slimy at this point. It has not aged rather well. It seems to have become a bit it has an acrid sense, a smell to it. Yes, it seems to be a little stanky. It's not working out like they suspected it would. You have King Charles' new slim down monarchy, which features King Charles, Godzilla, Afro Annie, Ford Fiesta, and of course the laziest, well, not the laziest. I mean, that's a double act. You got Kitty, Willie Leaks, and of course Edwina. Gone is Queen Elizabeth II. And combined, Philip and the Queen probably did way more work than this bunch of people. Charles used to work, right? He used to work, but even before his illness, he had slowed down a mite. Too busy taking care of Camilla and her children and her ex-husband. Jennifer Clark, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for being here on Royal Sussex. So Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom dies at Balmoral Castle in Scotland after reigning for 70 years. Her son Charles, Prince of Wales, ascends the throne upon her death as Charles III. And what has happened since? Not much. Not much. We've only realized how much more racist they are. But other than that, not a whole lot. So, as I said, this did not age very well. When I found it, I was like, look at where we were on September the 8th, the day the Queen died, and look at where we are now. It is a mess. And then on top of that, Prince William, Kate Middleton making preparations for King Charles' death. I kind of feel like this may have possibly have been leaked. They have been doing this for years. They have been doing this for years. Prince William and Kate Middleton are finally in line to start preparing for the death of King Charles. Now, if you take a look on the right, this is what I've been saying for the longest. This collage, I don't remember where I got it from, but I know one of the squaddies put it together. And it's all of the magazine covers, well, a handful of them, because there were so many more, where you kept seeing king and queen for the role, and this and that, and so on and so forth. Camilla seemingly did not even care. She didn't even care. Now we know better because behind the scenes, Camilla was doing what Camilla does best, and that is handling her business. And as for Charles, Charles didn't say much because Charles had a plan. They both had a plan. We saw that carried out on Coronation Day. It was like their second wedding. This time, Camilla decided to wear white, right? And nobody else, even though it is a tradition, but nobody else was allowed to wear a crown or diadem or tiara. Only those two, which again is not normal for a coronation. They had already decided that whatever happens, they were going to be king and queen consort, and all of these little hints about what's happening next, they publicly did not even address it and didn't seem to care. But it seems like Willie and Kitty are up to it again. They wouldn't have put all of these covers out there, all of these stories, if it wasn't coming from Kensington Palace. William has done that far too often, where he will have his people make a declaration of what the next move is going to be. I got a little bit of receipts about that I'm going to share with you too. So again, Cosmopolitan, Prince William will snub royal family Christmas if his stepbrother Tom is there. Now that seemed rather strange, but again, an example of William asserting himself. And on the next to that, you can see Prince William, Kate Middleton making preparations for King Charles' death. We just shared that. Channel 4 is planning a special Dispatches documentary on Saturday. The title, The Prince and Their Secret Millions. So a lot is happening. Princess Kate set to miss ceremony as starts the, and she's not going to South Africa, right? So you got all of this happening this week, or all of this news coming out right now. Very, very interesting and curious. So King William, what would he be? William the Fifth? William the Third? Which William would he be? Let me see. There was William the Conqueror, and then it drops off right there. I can't remember who else was a William, but gosh, there has to be quite a few of them anyway. But yeah, he's ready to assert himself. William the Fifth. Oh, wow, I got that right the first time. I'm surprised. Okay, very cool. Let me continue. Now, which faith for Charles III? How will he die? Now, some time ago, they said he had 6 months to live. That obviously is not the case. From the trip to Australia, it turns out they say that he's got his second wind and that he is suddenly more robust and healthy, and that he intends to plan an additional, 2 additional trips abroad next year. Now, that doesn't sound like someone who's about to check out. And this is not like the days of the Queen's father, where they take one of his lungs away and tell him that he's getting better. Now, either Charles' health is improving or it's not. But from all accounts, I think William is trying to preempt the actual, mortality of his father, because Charles seems to think that he's got a little more time to go, right? Or a lot more time to go. So will the monarchy even survive? Which is going to last longer, Charles or the British monarchy as we know it? Hard to say. And just for the record, the Inquirer, they always telling you somebody about to die. So there you go. Um, you ought to. This is actually it's a little cartoon where the crown keeps moving back and forth from Charles to William. I'm going to say it's stuck in the Charles position. If Charles was healthy enough to go to Australia, I think that they are getting some mileage out of his diagnosis of cancer. If it is cancer, we don't know for certain because they won't tell us what kind. But apparently, being around that many people publicly, right, where you're exposed to so many germs and viruses and bacteria and stuff, if they feel as though he was healthy enough to do that, I'm going to wager you that unless there's a sudden downturn, that Charles may have a few more years left, or even better. Who knows? Seems very strange, but he was able to go to Australia, and I just kind of think the doctors would not sign off on that if he was not healthy enough to do it, right? So I love this one. Make me king. William and Kate live at Windsor when he's king, despite to live at Windsor when he's king, despite the 12 million pound um, Kensington Palace refurb. So remember, they kicked out a family to move into Anmer Hall, right? Then they took over the biggest apartment at Kensington Palace, 20 rooms, I believe. Then, if that wasn't enough, they got a place up at the Balmoral estate. I'm not sure which order that's in. And then the Adelaide cottage where Kate lives and possibly William. But I think William has an apartment at the Windsor Castle. So it has been speculated for a while that Kate and Willie don't even actually live together. That's what the speculation has been. And let me get comfortable. I tend to, I believe that to be to be true, that they're not actually living together. So I don't know. Who do you think is leaking this? Is it Kate hoping to include herself in the transition for the to that point or not? I don't know. All right. So here's what I was talking about. William and Kate immediately claiming their new titles. Is this the tackiest thing I've ever seen? They could have given Charles one day to mourn his mother and update his accounts before swooping in. You see there? A little bit surprised the British Royal Family Communication team didn't coordinate this better. Kensington Palace should have waited for Clarence House to make the change to Cornwall. So the Queen dies. 5 minutes later, William has updated their account to Duke and Duchess of Cornwall and Cambridge. And so Charles said that they did not have to wait. He was going to just make William the Prince of Wales. Now, being Prince of Wales, having that title conferred to you, that does not happen automatically. It wasn't like the Queen dies, Charles becomes the Duke of Lancaster, and the Prince of Wales just automatically goes to William. That is not the case. It must be conferred. So Charles could have made William wait years before conferring that title upon him, but he didn't. He did it right away. I don't think he had a choice because William was likely to change the their Twitter account and the other social media. He was likely to do that at any given time. So, will Prince William become Prince of Wales? Charles was created Prince of Wales in 1958. See there? It wasn't when his grandfather died and the Queen became the Duke of Lancaster. And I do believe that she was referred to as Duke instead of Duchess. I think so. Or the Duchess of Lancaster, either way. But that was her title. He was age 10. He was age 10 when with an investiture at Carnarvon Castle in 1969. As a result, as an adult, William might expect to become Prince of Wales soon after father's accession. Well, again, he didn't make him wait. He gave it to him like within days. But it will be a matter for the new king to decide because strictly the title is not inheritable. So yeah, that is not an inherited title. So anyway, let's move on. But again, that is an example of William jumping the gun and just calling it out before it happens. So maybe he's in a hurry to be regent. William, I'll end the era of never explain. Now, this has been the bedrock of the royal family, even though we know it's a lie. But the never explain, never, what is it? Never complain, never explain. I don't even think William consulted, what do you call it? Clarence House or Buckingham Palace after that doomed trip to the Caribbean. He just had his people blurt it out. They just said, "Oh, we're not doing that anymore." He was so embarrassed by what happened when he lost nearly half the Caribbean that William just decided, you know what? I'm not doing it like that anymore. We are going to complain. We are going to explain. I mean, what is the opposite of never explain, never complain? That means you're going to complain and explain, right? He said he was ending the era, meaning that he will explain things as they go along. Like, how come he won't pay taxes or something like that? That he's going to explain it as he feels necessary. So that's another example of Willie jumping the gun where he really should have, consulted someone. And then over here, Republicans claim Australia don't want Charles as king. Look at the date on that. I forgot I even had that. That was April 3rd, 2022. That was April 3rd, 2022. That was a year before they even knew Charles was coming. Well, actually, 2 years before they even knew he was coming. And they were already trying to get rid of him. But wait, there's more. There's more. Because of this, check it out. This is what there is more. Republic Day of action against the $500 million royal budget is underway. We're starting at Westminster Bridge demanding that Rachel Reeves MP cut royal funding, not our public services. Ooh, this is getting juicy. This is getting juicy. Cut royal funding. They're saying the quiet parts out loud. Check it out. $500 million for the royals, budget cuts for the rest of us. Now, so far, there has been no response from the royal family on this assertion that it cost $500 million to sustain the royal family. I believe it to be true. I believe it to be true. If you count how much security, transportation, and of course, what is it, 22 properties? And that's 22. Is that properties or is it estates? Because remember, there are multiple properties on the Windsor estate. There are multiple properties at Balmoral. There's multiple properties at Sandringham. Or should I say housings or castles or units or whatever you want to call it, dwellings There are multiple dwellings on each of those estates. And remember, they even maintain a cemetery at Frogmore. That costs money. Most cemeteries are maintained because of people buying plots, but the royals, the taxpayers are paying for it, or the subjects' taxpayers are paying for it. So I could easily believe a $500 million. Yeah, or £500 million. Check that one out. They wasn't playing, were they? They were not playing. They went to what is that? Is that the oh, I forget which bridge that is, but there they are. They have put a banner over the Thames. Cut the $500 million royal budget. Don't you love it? And they mean business. So this definitely ought to be picked up by the media. Whether something will happen as a result of it is anybody's guess. Let me see. I just want to take a look and see what the coverage is like for that. Almost non-existent in the mainstream media. Almost non-existent. As one of the wealthiest landlords in the country, Prince William wants to end homelessness, but he's not unaware of the paradox, right? Jan Moore. Moore, what is it, Moore? Let me see. Prince William has an ambitious new initiative. He wants to eradicate homelessness in London within 5 years. Well, jolly good for him. The protection and security of his most vulnerable subjects is exactly the sort of mission the king in waiting should be embarking upon. What's more worthwhile? Now, if she's not going to drag him, I'm not interested in this. Okay. Looking concerned at meetings, William concerned as he spoke to homeless people, and William looking super concerned. 6 minutes in, and he was already wearing a comedy apron, dishing out roast potatoes at a charity Christmas lunch, and talking about how he was inspired to help the homeless by the memory of his mother. Sometimes one cannot escape the feeling that we are all bystanders in a monumental existential struggle between William and Prince Harry. That's what I'm looking for, to be known henceforth as Mummies Loved Me Best. Henceforth to be known as Mummy Loves Me Best. So she's saying that William is trying to compete with Harry in this Who Mummy Loved the Most. We Can End Homelessness was produced by Mind House, directed by Leo Burley, and furnished that is with a what is that? What is it? Portinous I can't even say it. Sorrow tinged voiceover by actor David Morrissey. And in the first of the two-part broadcast last night, viewers were fed up with some of the sobering but unchallenged statistics of 350,000 people across Britain now lack permanent homes. 80,000 families are living in temporary accommodations, and since 2019, more than 109,000 homes in the private rental sector have received Section 21 eviction notices. This suggests further homelessness, even though the Labour government will abolish these notices next year. Wow, she's dragging Willie. William did not comment directly on these figures, nor were the complex political and societal reasons behind them analyzed or discussed. You guys, I didn't see the William homelessness thing. You know, that two parts. I think it's on ITV. I didn't see that, but it looks like Jan Moore is dragging him. Oh, okay. Good for her. Good for her. You know, sometimes she will do that because she did. Well, to be fair, most people did, but she did drag them over their Caribbean tour. So even though I can't stand her, sometimes she will drag them. Let me see. Of course, he means well, but at the end of part one, I was no clearer about how the prince was going to achieve his homewards objective, except that he seemed keen in providing an umbrella of well established homelessness organizations such as the Salvation Army shelter and Big Issue and Centerpoint. If he can be the glue that will hold you together, he suggested uh, at the meeting, I don't think they were too impressed. Perhaps more will be revealed in part two. Woo! Yes, she kind of dragged him, you guys. I'm here for it. She kind of dragged him. Hey, B10. Okay, let's move on. So, Dan Wooten said back in June of 2022, before the Queen died, as a royalist, I hate to say it, but I'm beginning to doubt that Prince Charles has the capacity to become King Charles III without threatening the future of the British monarchy. Um, Now, if I have to say that Dan Wooten was right about something, that would probably be it. He seemed to hit that one right on the head. But then again, that's an easy one. Everybody said he wasn't ready. Uh, Paulette Claw, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. And B10 Pal, 33 months membership. 33 months membership. That is outstanding. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Good on you. Thank you very much. Okay. I'm sorry I'm not paying much attention to your comments here. Um, those are kind of hard to miss though, but let me see. I'm just scrolling back through. Adrian Burrows says, I'm glad William doing what he's doing, considering how Charles treated William and Harry when they were adolescents. So Charles gets what he deserves. Now Princess Charlotte's taking notes. Princess Charlotte impressed me. I'm just impressed when I look at the way she observes things. I think out of all the children, she has been probably more. Um, she kind of reminds me of Harry when because Harry definitely took mental notes as a child. Definitely took mental notes, and I could see Charlotte is very much that way. Very much taking mental notes. Even things that she doesn't understand now will make so much sense to her later. And you know, nothing against the other children, of course, because there is the line of succession. But you know, there are going to be what is it, 5 queens in Europe in the future? 5 queens. Belgium, um, Norway, Sweden, Spain, and gosh, am I missing one? Oh, the Netherlands. The Netherlands. There are going to be 5 reigning queens across Europe. Yeah. 6 if oh never mind. Let me stop. Let me stop. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. That would be tacky of me. Oh, I don't want to say the name, but DJ, thank you very much for the Cash App. Thank you very much for the Cash App. Thank you for all you do, Baron. Oh, thank you so much for supporting Royal Sussex. Greatly appreciate it. Okay, let us continue. So, again, this is the line of succession. Well, actually, this is how their titles will change. So, remember, I said that that slimmed down monarchy was not aging very well. Now, this was also from September of 2022, right after the Queen died. Um, the tabloid media was very quick to say that Archie and Lilibeth would become prince and princess. And no matter how you feel about the royal titles, I feel even more strongly about a birthright. And I don't like to see children being othered because adults cannot get along. So I did not want those children to lose their birthright, and they did not, even though they were trying to finagle or finesse it away from them. That did not happen. So everything that they have here has been very accurate. Um, yeah, I'll leave that up there for a second, but all of that has been very accurate. I just didn't want them messing with those kids' titles. It didn't seem fair. They have taken so much away from Harry, including his mother. Don't take the titles away from his children, too. Because, like it or not, Harry is a royalist and he believes in the potential benefits of having monarchy. And I get that because it is an amazing platform, and most of the people in the royal family, most members of the family, they're not really utilizing the platform in a way that is as beneficial as possible. Um, but the potential is there, and with all fairness, Charles, with his Prince's Trust, was able to do a lot with that platform. And it's just too bad he was such a jerk that he won't be remembered for that. He's going to be more remembered for the way he mistreated Diana. And we certainly won't let them forget. Kat Harlem says, hello, Baron and Squatties. I had to take a break from royal news. I'm easing back in. Well, Kat Harlem, thank you for 26 months membership. So during your break, you were still supporting Royal Sussex. And that means a lot to me. But I understand you have to protect your mental health. It has a toll. A lot of this has a toll because when you care about, in this case, Harry and Meghan, the children, Doria, and it just seems like this constant weight, this pulling, like they're being pushed back and plotted against, probably because it's true. I mean, there's a very big plot coming from that institution. Harry has spoken about it, but I think what really makes me a bit exhausted is that the mainstream media for such a long time has played along the with the institution, with the firm. They have played along with them, and I feel better now because you don't have as many people singing from that hymn book as before, where every time Harry and Meghan is mentioned, there's always that negative tone. That was a tone that was established by those royal rotas and their connection, like Max Foster with CNN. He was trying to make CNN this place that would always have this negativity toward the Sussexes. And Donatella Limon, also known as Don Lemon, he demonstrated the willingness to incorporate that negativity. And of course, that Craig and those other people on the morning show on the Today Show, they too were feeding into that. So that I believe, I may be wrong, but because I don't watch a lot of those people, but I think that that negativity has stopped, at least the constant negativity, and it really should have. Harry, it never should have started, but Harry and Meghan have been gone since 2020, and they have moved on, and they have done so many great things since then. Um, this idea of reminding everybody how much their house costs and all that kind of stuff, it had just really gotten out of hand. It was silly. It was silly. You could spend more time reporting on the great stuff that they're doing and less with this family dynamic. Nothing is going to change between the Sussexes and the Markles and the Sussexes and the Windsors. That's not going to change anytime soon. We won't see nothing big happen or anything big happen until Charles goes down into the storm cellar with the Queen, Philip, and whoever else is down there. So that's when we'll anyway. Thank you so much for your 26 months. That is when we will see something shift in that relationship. Absolutely, Sussex sauce. Thank you for that. Okay. So that is the line of secession. Oh, good. I see that they didn't put what is his name? Not Edward, Andrew. They didn't put Andrew on this one. But yeah, very cool. That is the line of secession. Now, let me continue. So this happened last night. Over 75,000 Americans. Oh, I'm sorry, I messed that up. Over 75,000 Americans. Do I dare? No, I better not. I was about to say I could fix that right now, but I don't want to do any adjustments now. Since everything is working, don't rock the boat. Since everything is working, don't rock the boat, right? Just leave it alone. Don't change anything, right? No matter how tempting it is, even though it says over 75,000 Americans turned out, just pretend like I don't see it, right? Don't let that OCD or whatever they call it, don't let that kick in. Don't mess up the whole thing trying to fix something that is really not so important, right? Right. I don't even see it. It's not even there. There's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, so that was an impressive sight. 75,000 people in Washington, D.C. last night. That's 75,000 people saying, we ain't going back. We are not going back. This election thing has been very stressful, but I don't think it's as close as people say. And I'm going to run the risk of getting on people's nerves again. But the American media, they have been selling people a bill of goods year after year after year. They are getting their ratings by saying that this is close and that's close, and I don't know how they're going to manage to do this. They know better, but they have to string us along. To me, it's very abusive because they are literally playing with people's emotions. It is very stressful, right? It is very stressful. And as a content creator, I do the best that I can to not let anybody leave Royal Sussex feeling worse than they were feeling when they got here. I don't ever want to do that. Now, sometimes we just have to talk about some things, but for the most part, it is not necessary to overwhelm people with imagery and stuff like that just for the sake of it. Like, for instance, I have yet to mention anything about somebody buying a house someplace because I don't care. I really don't care. It doesn't make a difference. Um, I'm not inclined to believe it until I hear it from the Sussexes. So I haven't even speculated about that. That is something that benefits the tabloid media. They are directly benefiting from that. And we all know that Maureen, Richard Eden, makes up stuff. You can never trust what he's saying because I have shared my proof of that several times that he makes up stuff. And at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. It does not matter. What matters is that they are comfortable and that they are safe and that they are thriving in Montecito. So in their new lives, they're thriving because we all know in Montecito there are no leaks. There's not any leaks in Montecito, so they don't know. All right, and this is also from last night. Now, what you can't see is that they have so I don't know how they do it, but there's actually a big glass barrier that the vice president is standing behind. Most times they are able to share that the image of the person without you seeing the obviously very necessary means of defense, but it is there, and so yeah, she is quite safe. And I was thinking about this because check out the one on the left side. If you remember Schoolhouse Rock, if you were a kid growing up in the US back in the 1970s, they had an educational series called Schoolhouse Rock. And the lady on the right side, that was the suffrage woman or hero or whatever. You remember that? Well, we were suffering until the suffrage. Not a woman here could vote no matter what age. Till the 19th Amendment struck down that restricted rule. Yeah, well, anyway, as you can see, she has been reimagined as the vice president. Very cool, right? The vice president. Vote Kamala Harris. I'm sorry, Kamala Harris. Vote Kamala Harris. She has been reimagined as the character that you see on the right side. So I thought that was pretty cool. You know, for my own selfish reason, well, they're not selfish. I think it's for the good of the nation. I really do want the vice president, to be very successful. But could you imagine what that representation will do for all women, not just women of color, but for all women? The most powerful office in the land, right? The most powerful office in the land, the leader of the free world. We have gone through 46 heads of state, 46 presidents of the United States, and they've all been men. And within all but one have been white men. My point is, she can't do any worse. She cannot possibly do any worse. She's not going to go in there like Liz Truss and bankrupt the entire economy, or at least almost. That's not going to happen. And I get really frustrated because there's so many people that say, oh, she didn't really tell us, or she's not talking about this. And even though she has been a very successful prosecutor, there are people on the right that have managed to convince other people that she doesn't know how to speak properly. Now, in my logical mind, I have to say this: anybody running for president for at least 2 years, you have to be very conscious of everything you say so that it doesn't become something negative in the news cycle. And that goes for the Republican candidate as well. Now, one thing about Donald Trump is that he deliberately confuses people and confounds people with a massive amount of nonsense. So you don't even notice that he's inserting subliminal messages at the same time. But for everyone else, it is it is an obstacle course. It is a minefield. And so anyone should be forgiven for having these gaffes. And I think that a logical person knows that if you are speaking that much, that often, you're bound to make a mistake. And the only way to control that is to do a lot of thinking and concentrating on everything that you say. Imagine doing that for 2 straight years. For 2 straight years. You're not allowed to misspeak unless you should find yourself completely eliminated from the highest office in the land. And there have been gaffes that people have made where they have dropped out of the presidential race over something rather silly when you look back on it. But it happens. So if it seems as though you're getting that type of talk from a candidate, any candidate, there's a good reason for that. It's not easy. It takes a lot of money, a lot of time and effort to become president of the United States. And they're trying to hold Vice President Harris to a standard that has not been a thing since Donald Trump came down that escalator. And it's very frustrating. They're trying to hold this amazing candidate to a standard that doesn't exist anymore. We have been permanently dumbed down, not individually, but collectively as a society. We have been dumbed down. They have taken us down to like a fifth grade reading level. And the sad thing is, most people haven't even noticed. Do you know how much energy it takes for Vice President Harris, or how about Michelle Obama, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, and not just the Democrats, to be fair? It takes a lot to downplay your education just so that you could appeal to someone who may not understand what you're saying, who is not going to try to rise to the level of understanding what you're saying. You have to dumb it down to be more digestible to the masses. That's not easy. So if it sounds as though some of your favorite politicians are, shall we say, using language that sounds a bit condescending, there's a good reason for that, because they have to dumb it down. And it's unfortunate, but it's true. Years ago, presidents like John F. Kennedy, oh my God, that man was brilliant. He wouldn't survive today. He couldn't. He could not survive today as a politician. It'd be impossible. People would think that he was being the most arrogant person Franklin Roosevelt, brilliant. There have been some brilliant people in that office, but they have to downplay their education so that the masses, the very, you know, I'm just going to say it, the no, I'm not going to say it. You know who I'm talking about. The basket of deplorables, so that that basket of deplorables can understand what they're saying. And that's really sad. Instead of elevating the conversation, we have to take it down to the lowest possible denominator so that people won't think that someone is full of themselves. So that's the unfortunate truth. And it gets frustrating, and sometimes it comes across in the worst possible way. But it's not easy for the vice president to have an appeal to certain sectors of society because of that. Donald Trump is easy for him because um, with all of his flimflammery, he's really not the academic type, but he's a flimflammer, so he can get by. Anyway, just wanted to say that. So if you're a little bit frustrated by everything that's happening, the good thing is next week we will be past this stage of it, and there will probably be a lot of court battles and everything. So we'll have something else to worry about. But we will be past all of these rallies and all of these people with these. I mean, social media is a mess right now. It is 10 times worse than what it was in 2016. But we will get through this, and God willing, the vice president will become president in January, and we won't have to endure this constant campaigning and all of the people trying to manipulate and gaslight um, the voters. So, okay, let's move on. This was really bad. Now, if you don't know what happened, okay, I'm hearing someone say something about sound. Let me check. Oh gosh, let me see. How do I do this? Okay, check. The sound is good. Yeah, the sound is good. I'm seeing that it's working. So I think we're okay. Now, if you don't know what happened, you see the guy in the upper right. Well, he is Muslim, and I believe he's of Arab descent. Remember, Arab and Muslim is not one and the same, but I do believe he's a practicing Muslim. And the guy in the bottom right, I I think he's Jewish, maybe. Well, anyway, they were having a debate, a round table, and suddenly he says um, that I hope your beeper doesn't go off. Now, we know what happened with the beepers in Lebanon, where there was a, a signal sent to the beepers, and some embedded explosive that was in the beepers, maimed and killed a few people. It was awful. And so it was a put down. It was an insult that he said that. And he was taken off the air because of that. And they apologized to the guy in the upper right. I'm sorry, I don't know his name. But that is where we are right now. So if anybody feels the urge to tune out, even though we're so close to the election, remember, you cannot fight this battle alone. And it does not hinge on whether you turn on the evening news or go to social media. It doesn't even matter if you come on Royal Sussex. I told you a long time ago, when this stuff gets to be too much, tune it out, because your mental health and well being is so much more important than anything I have to say or anything that they have to say. It is so much more important. So when someone says, "Oh, I had to take a break," good for you. God bless you for knowing when to do that. All right. The hard truth: Americans don't trust the news media. And one of the reasons why is because Jeff Bezos hired that guy to take over one of the most prestigious newspapers on the planet. Why would he do that? Why would he do that? There are many, many talented people here in the United States. We don't have to go to Fleet Street looking for some hack to take over the what is it, the Washington Post. That is the Watergate uh newspaper. They're the ones that broke the Watergate. It is sickening. And as you can see, a lot of people did not respond well to that. It would be as though the editor of the National Enquirer were to take over, say, the New York Times. There has got to be a line somewhere. When that guy sold his stake in Twitter, and Twitter was taken over by Elon Musk, it has bankrupt and ruined the Twitter, now called X. They cannot get the type of advertisers that they had in the past. That's gone. Elon Musk doesn't care about Tesla because the sale of electric vehicles has tanked. Everybody who wants an electric car has it. They didn't see that coming, but the people that want the electric cars, they have it. So he doesn't even care about Tesla. He has contracts. He and Jeff Bezos, they have contracts. I don't know if you know this, but the servers at Amazon are used by the federal government. So Amazon, Jeff Bezos, Tesla with his Starlink and space program, both of those guys are making a lot of money from the US taxpayers. And both of them, I'm sure, have security clearance. So there's a lot more that's going on than meets the eye. But you know what I say? Don't worry about it. It's the same as I tell you with TikTok. There's 350 million Americans. There ain't nothing going on your TikTok that is going to cause you some kind of problem. There are so many ways to get to your information. They don't need to use TikTok for that. They don't like TikTok because it's a truth bomb. It's full of truths that these young people have bypassed traditional media like the Washington Post. So, take the good with the bad. But yeah, that of course we don't trust them. And seeing how they the story of Prince Andrew and his association with Epstein. We know how that was blocked by the royal family. If you want access to the funerals, to the weddings, to this, to that, then if I was you, I wouldn't run with that story, allegedly. And it worked. So why should we trust them? If you can catch and kill a story like that, then you're capable of anything. Yeah, thank you, Nafisa Shabazz. Exactly. That is something that we should never discount is the fact that Elon Musk, his background is not conducive to the equality that most people seek in this world. I mean, there's so many connections that I wish I could talk about. There's so many connections that I wish I could talk about, and I just can't. I can't. Mostly because we be here all day, and I don't want to drift too far from the main stuff. So, but yeah, there's a lot of connections between this country and that country, this billionaire and that billionaire. So many of them. But all I can say is do your homework, but don't take this stuff so serious. Don't be the person standing at your door with a shotgun trying to take out the Uber driver or the Amazon delivery. The point is, you can't do a lot about these things. You can vote, right? You can vote, but staying up at night and worrying about things that you cannot control is not going to help you in the long run. It will do more harm than good. So remember, you cannot fight these battles by yourself. Collectively, we can do a lot of things, but you losing sleep is not going to change stuff. So at that point, switch it off. Switch it off. Go outside, do some retail therapy, go to like the dollar store or the pound store and just buy a bunch of nonsense, sit it on the kitchen table, spread it out, look at it and stuff like that. Then start figuring out who you can give it away to because you didn't need it in the first place. Right? Go to Costco. Do like I did last time. Go to Costco to get some lemon rice and come out with an air fryer. Um, what else did I get? Um, oh yeah, I got a new rug for the bathroom. Oh man, did I do some damage? Anyway, hundreds of dollars later, I realized I had gone too far. So that's what you can do besides sitting up there anguishing about stuff that you cannot fix. Please do that. Don't try to fix this stuff in your head. Don't try to have these long conversations. Like my best example of that was before having this platform. I remember I would talk about Harry and Meghan, and people would be like, well, "Why do you care? They're rich. Um, she knew what she was getting into." That kind of stuff. And when you don't have anyone to share that type of stuff with, it makes you feel very lonely and isolated. And that's what's so great about these platforms is that you have a chance to share your thoughts and your feelings. The good thing about social media is that there is a topic for everybody. There's something for everyone. And you can find a community, whereas before, you just did not have that available, right? That is a good thing. So, along with all of the misinformation that's on social media, there's a lot of community out there. And you're lucky if you can find the right one, but there's a lot of community out there. So, sometimes when I'm looking for stuff on YouTube, like how to do this or how to do that, I do like a $5, what do you call it? Super chat or a super sticker. And I had this one kid um, who had like whatever, I think it was for MacBook or something like that. Do you know all the time he had that channel, he said I was the first person that ever sent him a super chat or super sticker. But it was helpful to me, right? So along with the like button, at the very least, I'm gonna throw a $5 in there. It wasn't a big amount, but it made him feel so much better about the work that he was doing, the effort that he put into it. So, you know, my point is when you can find a community of like-minded people, that's definitely worth nurturing. And you don't have to feel so lonely and isolated in your thoughts anymore. And you don't have to do it virtually. You can, you know, make a group yourself of like-minded people, you know, like people that follow different bands around the world. They travel and, you know, I never done anything like that, but for the people who have that, I'm happy for them. I'm very happy for them. So, just something to think about. Okay. So, there are some media companies out there that we never heard of, like this Stern magazine. Unless you're from a Germanic country, maybe you never heard of it. I haven't. I've heard of Der Spiegel, but I never heard of this one. But I translated it for you. His fight: neo-Nazi, Ku Klux Klan, racism, how Donald Trump fuels hatred in America. This should be every American magazine right now, but instead, they're treating a monster as though he's normal. You know, the same people who kept asking about Hillary Clinton's emails, they should have been focused on this, and they were not. They gave this a free pass, and now we're stuck with this again. Now we're stuck with it again. Now we're getting that horrible acid feeling in our stomachs again because they have normalized a monster. Now, Der Spiegel, who called him out the first time around, the fire demon, a president sets his country on fire. And let me see, when was this? That was 6/6/2020. So yeah, that was January 6th. Wait, 6/6/20. Well, June the 6th. But this was as a response of January 6th. That was in response to January 6th. This happened, the one on the left side, that one originally was from 2017. That was when Donald Trump was in office, and we realized, oh, that he wasn't play acting. He really is horrible. And compare this one on the right side, and that, of course, is um, Joe Biden trying to put things back together, trying to put the Statue of Liberty's head back onto his body. A lot of symbolism there. But this is what I wish a lot of these American publications would do. But they have normalized him. They have normalized him. And that's unfortunate. But Donald Trump has literally decapitated this country. All of the things that we held sacred, that was normal. January 6th, we literally lost the democracy for a very short period of time. The Congress was forced to flee the Capitol, and that nearly half of the eligible voters in this country believe that monster rather than what we've actually witnessed on television is so disappointing. It is so disappointing. Very, very disappointing. Sad, shocking. That was one of the worst days. I put it right along with 9/11, to be honest with you. I put it right up there with 9/11. humiliating. Now, why does no one dare ask the obvious questions about Donald and Melania Trump's marriage? Again, they have normalized Donald Trump. Oh, he's just fill in the blank. They've normalized his character when there's really nothing normal about him. We have never, ever had a display like this in the White House, ever. Almost on a daily basis, things that Donald Trump has said and done would exclude any other candidate. Any other president would have stepped down. But he just keeps going. And there are cheerleaders out there that encourage him to keep doing the worst. But you know what it reminds me of? You know what it reminds me of? This. It reminds me of this. That's what it reminds me of. This. And of course, this reminds me that there's that. Not everybody has to be this. You can be that. So only that is that, and this is this. And you can never confuse this with that. You understand what I'm saying? Good, because I don't. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's the only thing that came to mind. If I had to make an instant association, I would say that in some ways, they're almost the same people, William and Dunod. Of course, William's not a skilled communicator like Dunod, as Melania calls him Dunod. But basically, big man babies, big man babies, just like Charles, a big man baby. So again, the Sussexes always strike the right note. And of course, maybe one reason why they're not so close. I mean, if um, Kitty, if Kate Middleton had showed as much attention and focus to William over the years as she has displayed with who was that, Roger Federer? Remember how she seemingly flirted with him in front of his wife, allegedly, to the point where Mirka seemed to sit there and pout a bit. Maybe that's why. Maybe because she feels strongly toward other people and don't seem to have as much affection for her own husband. It all seems rather forced. This looks very organic. And this looks organic. Maybe one of the reasons why William doesn't feel so close to um, Kate is because his affections lie someplace else. And we have some good evidence of that, don't we? I mean, I cannot tell you the last time a man clawed his fingernails into my back. I can't tell you the last time anyone clawed their fingernails into my back. It's been years, if ever, but it's been years. But here we have the future king literally, squeezing and kneading him like dough. It's all so much, isn't it? And it's not a one of. It's happened several times. It's happened several times. I'm just like, get a room, will you? Get a room. Now, the only thing that I can't figure out is how does Zara the tongue ring Tyndall fit into this? But obviously, there is a tacit approval for such behavior. And I'm sure it's all very sweet and innocent. But it's just amazing how some people have more affection for a stranger, if you will, or someone who is married into the family, they seem to have more affection, more pride and joy um, from for an in-law than they do their own flesh and blood or their own lawfully wedded spouse. Just saying. Just saying. I hope they don't take a pottery class. You know, if they take a pottery class, things are going to get out of hand. You know that, don't you? Whoa, my love. If they take a pottery class, Mike and William, things are going to get weird. Do you hear me? Lonely rivers flow to the sea, to the sea, to these open arms of the sea. Yeah. Oh my goodness. You know what? Why don't we try to pool our resources and send a coupon for free pottery lessons? We'll send one to William and one to Mike Tendo, and then let's just see what happens. Huh? Let's just see what happens. Yeah, we should do that. Maybe we'll be a secret Santa. We won't put Sussex Squad. We'll just put Secret Santa. And then, of course, when Mike Tyndall says, you know what? I got a coupon too. Yeah, I got a coupon too. Let's do this again and again. It's as though there is no time and space. Rather awkward, but there is no time and space. Looks like you've been working out, Mike. Well, you know, I just been trying to hit the weights a little bit, but yeah, you're not looking so bad yourself. So, with great wealth comes great responsibility, and also when you marry into that Windsor family, they expect a lot from you. They expect a lot. So I'm just saying. Anyway, I just could not help myself. Now, open letter. Now, this is another one of those things that did not age so well. Take a look at that. This is from a deranger. Open letter to Prince Harry. Dear Harry, this open letter is about acceptance. You will never be Prince William. You will never be as good looking and charismatic. I can think that's what they mean. You'll never have his good looks and charisma. You will never be king. You will never draw big crowds. You will never be a statesman. Woo! You will never be a statesman. You will never be meeting with the American president. Your wife will never be accomplished and beautiful like Catherine. She will never be charismatic and charming like Catherine. But you gave the freedom to live your own life. Please do so and leave your brother and his wife alone. Please do it for the country. We need the stability of the monarchy. Did not age so well, did it? It just did not age so well. A lot has happened since then. Kitty disappeared for months. Charles seemed to have a whatever he had. What else? William pulled out of a memorial service, only to reappear looking rather, I don't know, beat up, bruised, battered, something. And of course, let me see what else has happened. Well, nobody's really working. Princess Anne got kicked in the head by a horse. Um, I don't know. A lot of stuff happened. But what has not happened is that slim down monarchy hasn't done as well as they thought it would. But this is some open letter. A statesman. Didn't I just show you an image of the Duke of Sussex addressing the NATO leaders? Huh? Right? And as for charisma, this was before the Colombia tour. This was before the Nigeria tour, but it was after several other things that they've done. So remember, they went to the UN that time. They went to New York, and well, anyway, the pandemic was still going on, but yeah, they made quite the impression. So, and of course, well, they've done okay for themselves, right? Harry and Meghan have done okay for themselves. Far superior to Fetal D and Fetal Dumb. I mean, after all, 2022 wasn't that the year that they gave away half the Commonwealth? They lost half the Commonwealth that year. So I wouldn't say that charisma or good looks was able to help them at that point. So they're pretty hopeless. They are pretty hopeless. I love you know, the what do you call it? The confidence in which they have written this open letter to Prince Harry, but it's silly. It doesn't make sense. It's not accurate. Unseen letter that shows Harry may find it hard to escape a lifetime of unhappiness. Now, this disturbed me, and I'm going to tell you why. Because notice the name of the author, the person who penned this article, Anna Pasternak. I thought she has learned her lesson about talking about Harry and Meghan in such a way. Now, it's not the worst article, but she's making this gross comparison to the Duke and Duchess of Windsor. Was it Edward VIII and Wallis Simpson, the Duchess of Windsor? He's making some connection. She's making a connection to them that just doesn't make sense. Now, this is the letter that she's referring to. Dear Boriston, I am desired by the Duke of Windsor to acknowledge your letter. So he dictated this letter to someone to respond. I am desired by the Duke of Windsor to acknowledge your letter of August 30th. His Royal Highness thanks you for the poem and the kind wishes, but asked me at the same time to assure you that the information that His Royal Highness is homesick is entirely without foundation. His Royal Highness wishes me to add that quite apart from rumors in the press, it is not very likely that he would be missing his country, which in every possible way tried to humiliate and misrepresent both himself and the Duchess of Windsor. So Anna Pasternak, I don't know how she came about this letter, but she wrote an article making some comparisons that Harry and Meghan will probably find it very difficult because of whatever. But the idea that Harry is homesick, and it ignores the fact that Harry has said that he would rather be in Kandahar than London. It ignores the fact that Harry would rather eat rations out of a tin can than to go to a state dinner. There's so many things that Harry would rather do than play the game of being in that institution. Now, there were people who responded to the article, and I will share the article if you like. As a matter of fact, let me go back. If you want to see the article, it's in the Independent, and it came out on the September 6th. I don't know how I missed it, but it came out in September. The unseen letter that shows Harry may find it hard to escape a lifetime of unhappiness. Anna Pasternak, with everything that they put you through, how dare you write something like this? How dare you write something like this? So check out on the right side. I, of course, went down to the comments to see what some of the other people that read the article thought about it. And this one is really bang on. The article seems wholly divorced from reality. Harry has not abdicated or renounced crown and country. He knew he was always the redundant spare and has been trying to find a role outside the gilded cage of the royal family. I can only admire him. Why would he want to get himself back in favor and then sit in a royal palace and make small talk while his life continues to hold no meaning? There is absolutely no valid comparison with the Duke of Windsor. And I hope Harry continues to sue our news media to raise the low standard of the press reporting and the mindless rumor mongering. Okay. One more. Again. There you go. There you go. But there's another. This person took another tone. I'm sick of the back teeth and erroneous comparisons between King Edward, who abdicated the crown despite huge popularity and approval in the press, to Harry, who was never going to be king and left the country in an attempt to protect his wife, who was under attack from a racist and bigoted press and public since their relationship was announced. A few more differences. Meghan was a successful actress with a history of philanthropy and millions in the bank. I'm clapping back. Wallace had no career except being married. Harry and Meghan have a continued track record of supporting good causes. Edward and Wallace were Nazi sympathizers, with evidence Edward colluded with them and would have been put back on the throne as a puppet if the UK had lost the war. So, enough of the lazy comparisons. Maybe the only thing in common is that the Windsors are vengeful and unforgiving if they don't get their own way, and are fine with protecting those who allegedly committed serious offenses, like Andrew the sick old man, or Lord Mountbatten and his wife Edwina, who were notorious back in the day. Okay? Now, as far as Willie, whether he is crowned Burger King or that king, it does not matter. He is nothing without his subordinates. The only thing that upholds him is the people that serve him, because he has no ability or skill to coordinate. He has no original thoughts. He has no vision. It took him 40 years to come up with Earth Flop. It took him over 40 years to come up with this homeward bound or a homeless, helpless, blah, right? And even with that, they don't achieve anything. All they do is really hitch their wagon to other people's success. That's it. They get a blueprint of how to serve the environment. They get a blueprint on how to get people together to talk about homelessness. They don't build anything. They don't pay anybody's rent. They don't do anything. He wants to change the way we talk about homeless. He wants to make homeless rare and whatever. That's not a solution. Do you know how many people have come to Prince Harry? I don't even think Harry could count. And they say, I was on the verge of ending it. And then somebody said to me, there's something called Invictus, right? Or what about all those young ladies that were following Meghan on social media who were looking for someone that they could identify with, someone that they could aspire to, a woman of character and substance, right? And then more extraordinary than anything else, there's been several occasions, and I mean this, there have been several occasions where people have been in a crowd or been in an audience and they will say, I follow you on Instagram. And Meghan says, I know who you are. Do you know how much that means to them? To be waiting for them when they do a walkabout, like when she was in Australia and she recognized someone that followed her on Instagram. Nobody in the palace had to say, oh, Meghan, there's a person. She knew the person. When they went to the Intrepid, and one of the recipients of the award was an alumni of Northwestern. And when she said Northwestern, the guy was like, who told you that? Because she had done her homework. That's who the Sussexes are. Meghan, who has sent handwritten letters to all types of people, big and small. That's the difference. So I think with the way that the monarchy is going, it's going to be more likely that William will be a Burger King more so than a sovereign. But either way, you know what? I don't even think he will notice the difference. I doubt if he will notice the difference. If they put that little paper crown on his head, do you really think that he'd be like, wait a minute? Right? He will think that his training at the friar, he will think his training for the friar is his rehearsal for the coronation. He won't notice the difference. He won't. Long as everybody's making him feel important, it doesn't matter. He won't even notice the difference. All they have to do is make him feel important, and he won't notice. The only thing he's going to be wondering is if somebody showed Harry how to use the French fry machine, how to put together the milkshakes. So as and by the way, thank you to the squatties who put these together. I didn't do these myself. I think this is Cloud Nugget, maybe. Employee of the month. Even though he has pledged to solve the Middle East crisis, the war in Ukraine, support the LGBTQ community, saving outdoor spaces, saving all Africans, fixing Brexit, saving the Amazon rainforest, solving global warming, stopping all the wars, and creating peace on earth. Peggy somehow always manages to show up for work 2 days per month. His dedication to shaking hands and smiling and taking pictures with customers is unsurpassed. This is why we proudly crown him Employee of the Month, Sleazy Dan, store manager. So, like I said, he may never even notice the difference. The only thing that seems to capture his imagination or interest is what is Harry doing? Um, you won't be king. The future of the monarchy rests on her shoulders. Again, these haven't aged very well, have they? Especially the one on the right side. The one on the left side, that one is from April. And well, Charles is still alive. Remember, they all thought Charles was about to check out, but woo, he's still alive. And the one here on the right side, well, if you can find her, if you can find her, remember, she's apt to disappear for months on a time, at a time. William's private struggle, not really, because all he does is complain about it. And then how about this, Liz Jones? Charles, we need you to be okay so that we're okay. We're not ready for William yet. I love it. And who could forget Pierce Morgan saying that good King Harry would make? I'm sorry, what a good king Harry, would make. Remember that article? Now that was back in 2016, so that was before. I think at the time nobody even knew that Harry and Meghan was dating, but yeah, that was something Pierce Morgan wrote, and it still seems true today, doesn't it? It's still the truth. Is that Harry would make a much better king than William. And of course, gaslighting sanction for Russian disinformation linked to Kate rumors. Why they keep trying to say that Kate is so important and so relevant that the Russians have somehow tried to manipulate the where's Kate and Kate's cancer, and the Russians were trying to steal her medical records. She's not the sovereign. She's not the sovereign. Who cares what her medical records are? Who cares whatever leaks? She's not the sovereign. She doesn't sign anything into law. She cannot dissolve parliament. So this is nonsense. And as for the double gagger, groups are accused of trying to incite division within countries supporting Ukraine. And isn't this a stretch? Isn't that a stretch? I don't believe it. Let me take a look at some of your comments. I'm sorry, I haven't been. Uh, okay. Oh, that's a heavy one there. Oh, Church Nelly, of course we send our prayers for you. Yes, we're sending our prayers for you. And thank you so much for sharing that with us. Okay. Okay, I'm just looking at some more comments. Wow, that's heavy. Thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing that with us, Church Nelly. And we love you, and we're always, always keeping you in our prayers. This one was from well, this was from the summer, I think. This is when they first started the whole thing about Russia is trying to go after Kate Middleton. I don't know if you remember that, but this is not new. This is something they had been saying for a while. Oh, no, I'm sorry. China, Russia, and Iran are reportedly behind the spread of conspiracy theories, slurs, and rumors about the Princess of Wales, who is not the head of state, by the way. Senior government figures are said to believe that the state deliberately peddled lies on social media in a bid to destabilize. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I could not hold that in. In an attempt to destabilize society, Russia, China, Iran, and they're trying to destabilize 1,000 years of monarchy by spreading rumors about Kate Middleton, not the prime minister, not the king, right? Uh, but instead, they have targeted Kate Middleton. Huh? Now, you know what, guys? Before I say that that's impossible, just remember they said that the future of the monarchy rests on her shoulders. So maybe they know something I don't. I find it hard to believe, but there you have it. Now, Candace Holmes says, sure, let's blame China, Russia, Iran for the BBC's sloppy reporting. Anything to deflect from their own mistakes. We're meant to trust state media, but we can't even question an obvious fake clip. Give me a break. Meanwhile, the monarchy lives tax free as we struggle, time for real change, abolish the monarchy. Now, this is not new. This is an old thing I saved here. Okay? This is not new. This is new. This is not new. They're still trying to make Kate relevant to the future of the monarchy, to the future of the United Kingdom. They would easily drag her into the mud if there were ever an announcement of a divorce between William and Kate, right? Whatever that negotiation was over the summer. If it wasn't for the invisible contract, if it wasn't for all of the things that Princess Diana went through, this lack of connection between William and Kate would be all over the news. They would get all the attention that they want for the worst possible reasons in the worst possible way. But because of the invisible contract, if they are living together or if they're separated, we won't know because they're not going to report it. We have our suspicions, of course, but the mainstream media is not going to report it. Again, invisible contract. If they were negotiating a divorce or negotiating to continue their relationship with certain ground rules, which is what a lot of people suspect is what happened over the summer. But we did not imagine Where's Kate Middleton. That really did happen. And no matter how much they gaslight, that really did happen. And it wasn't the Sussex squad. It wasn't China, Iran, and Russia. it was Kensington Palace that tried to do some type of scheme and it backfired. It backfired in an epic way. And as a result of it, Kate Middleton is not going to work more than a handful of times a year. Okay? That was negotiated. I'm sure about that. She's only going to work a few times a year. They have made it established that she will never be a full time royal until the last child graduates from college, which means for the next, let's say, what is it, 15 years? 15 years, 10 years, 15 years. Don't expect anything because she's not going to do anything. And so, in order to make that seem like it's normal, we got to pretend that China, Russia, and Iran was somehow trying to spread rumors about the non head of state, the non sovereign, the non consequential, barely verbal, right? Plastic jointed doll, Kate Middleton, is so important that she was targeted by China, Russia, and Iran. Kate Middleton, the only thing that is upholding the institution known as the monarchy. Kate Middleton, one of the critical thinkers of our time, she who holds the keys to the kingdom, she who is capable of commanding great knowledge and wisdom in a snap. No wonder she's being targeted by China, Russia, and Iran. I mean, after all, if it wasn't for Kate Middleton, where would we be? What would happen to society? Who would run around dressing like a windsock? Huh? Who would let their husband leave the house looking like Mitchum Roll-On deodorant? Who's going to give us jazz hand lessons? There's got to be somebody. I mean, those Bob Fosse moves don't come natural to most of us. But thanks to Kate Middleton, we're all using our hands more. Yes, thanks to Kate Middleton. Thanks to Kate Middleton, we don't even notice when William sneaks away for a pulled pork sandwich because we're so busy looking at our hands. I'm making this up as I go along. But you get my point. You're picking up what I'm putting down. Let me see. Eva Borglund, thank you so much for the super sticker. And as always, thank you for supporting Royal Sussex and being a member of Royal Sussex. Outstanding. Thank you very much. Now, China, Russia spreading slurs against Princess of Wales. See there? That was from March. They've been talking about this since March. It didn't make sense then. It doesn't make sense now. Whitehall figures fear hostile states have helped fuel wild conspiracy theories in an attempt to destabilize nation. Now listen, you guys, I talk a lot of stuff, but I no more believe that Kate Middleton is essential to that institution, to the United Kingdom. How could she be important to the United Kingdom if you have only seen her a handful of times a year? Even before this mystery illness, She did not work that much. She made an appearance. She came out wearing a coat dress and I don't know. She was not that important to the royalists, to the people who need the inspiration of the royal family. She's golden. But to the day-to-day workings of the British government, no. There's no constitutional role for her other than producing heirs. I said it. There's no role for her. As evident by the fact that she's only been seen a handful of times in 2024. What changed? What changed? Aside from um, all of the content that I created because of Where's Kate Middleton, what has changed? How has that affected the price of gold, the price of fuel? What has been affected by her absence? I'm waiting. So China, Russia, and when they feel like it, throw in Iran, is somehow out to get Kate Middleton. They want to spread some disparaging information to destabilize 1,000 years of monarchy. I'm trying to figure out how that works. Maybe I missed something. Maybe the problem is I took civics here in the US. I don't know enough about British history to figure out how a future consort, queen consort, figures into the great scheme of things. The queen was on the throne for 70 years and we barely talk about her, which means that we don't really miss her. So what's changed? Yeah. Yeah, she gave away her personality. She let them remove whatever personality she had, and it has been replaced with a jointed doll. She has become a Stepford wife. Are you talking about that where she looked like a pack of chicken legs? Where she looked like some chicken quarters? Oh, yeah. Let me see. The male espresso graph. Now I think this is a parody. Who is to blame for spreading these toxic conspiracies about Kate? Russian bots, Chinese TikToks, Meghan and Harry, the BBC, social media, Kim Kardashian, Owen Jones, Keir Starmer, the general public, don't be stupid, etc. And of course, certainly not us. So I forgot where I got that, but I love this. Someone put that together. Okay. Now, just a reminder, we did not imagine the Kate body doubles. We have seen potentially, possibly, allegedly body doubles, right? Now, the one that I think is the most likely is the farmer's market. That is not Kate Middleton. I repeat, that is not Kate Middleton. And the reason why you know it's not her is because you're looking at it. That is not Kate Middleton. And if it was Kate Middleton, according to that video, that person that walked out of that farmer's market was moving faster than Pierce Morgan leaving the studios of Good Morning Britain, setting a new land speed record for a mammal on 2 feet. That grainy image, I don't think that's Kate Middleton. The Franken photo, not Kate Middleton. What else? And the one on the bench, weird. It appeared like AI. The computer says a high likelihood that it was AI. There was AI somewhere in it. So, hoax or not a hoax? Everything is a hoax. And then on the right, you can see someone made a cartoon showing China having their slice of cake, Russia having their slice of cake, and of course, Iran. Now, I've had this since summer, or since spring. I don't know why that's so important. You guys, there must be some reason. I don't know what it is, but there must be some reason why they want us to believe that China, Russia, and Iran is spreading disinformation about Kate Middleton. I don't understand it. I don't get it. They're distracting for something. It seemed like it was easier for them to blame the Sussex squad, but then they stopped. They have gone back to China, Russia, Iran. I'm going to say this one last time and move on. She is not that important. She is not that relevant. Constitutionally speaking, everything that she is good for is done with. Unless at some point she becomes a regent, right? Unless in the future she becomes a regent. God help us if that's the case. But unless she becomes a regent, she serves no purpose except to wear a frock and the occasional tiara, and serves no other purpose. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. She serves no other purpose. The charities have gotten along just fine without her. Her military patronages, they're probably glad she's not there. Wimbledon, I promise you, if she doesn't show up for Wimbledon again, it won't make a difference. It'd be like William at the BAFTAs. He could either be there or not be there. You know what happens? Nothing. It makes no difference. But I tell you what, you could not have the Invictus Games without Harry. It just wouldn't be the same because that's his baby. He's the Invictus Papa. So there is no Invictus without Harry. Yeah. I'm going to say body double. That's not Kate Middleton. That is not Kate Middleton. It's not. It just is not. You could look at the shape of what's supposed to be William and say, yeah, that's William. Got that funny mouth. But Kate, Why is it so easy to say, oh, I think that's Prince William, but not so easy to say that's Kate Middleton? And then, of course, that is someone who has earned money as a Kate double. Now, if you notice, her mouth is not askew and her eyebrows are more symmetrical. But other than that, she looks like Kate Middleton. But that's not her. That's someone else pretending to be Kate. And then there's this. Everybody, including The View, was talking about where's Kate Middleton. Wow, even this photo is fake. Plus, the bricks they're not bricks or something like that. It says, what is going on? What on earth is going on? Kensington Palace did this. Not China, not Russia, and not Iran. Kate Middleton is not seen, and they share this photo and say it's Kate. They share this photo and say it's Kate. I don't believe it's her either. This person right here, I don't think she was the one coming out the farmer's market because, no offense, but the one coming out the farmer's market was younger. Let me see. We know the farmer's market is not Kate because Will didn't even didn't walk. Thank you, Recetas. Thank you very much. Exactly. He didn't look at her with disgust. Exactly. That's a good one. Thank you for that. So, hideous circus of the monarchy. What happened with Kate Middleton is awful, but the public is hardly to blame for how we got here. So, yeah, blaming the public, no. Blaming the sausage squad, no. Kensington Palace is responsible. There's a cognitive dissonance, cognitive, which is how people resolve the tension or discomfort when we feel we have contradictory information. Timeline of Kate's health battle recovery. So that's the timeline. I don't know if it's 100% accurate, though. I don't think so. Let me see. The 16th admitted to the London clinic abdominal surgery. Remember, that wasn't an emergency. The 17th, Kensington Palace announced the princess underwent surgery, followed by King Charles. Don't forget that weird thing. The princess hospital stay passes 1 week. Well, they announced she was going to be there 14 days. That was strange. Kate leaves hospital on the 29th, right? And then on the 27th of February, Prince William pulls out of service last minute, sparking wave of unfounded conspiracy. No, it is not unfounded. They weren't telling people what was happening. They said it wasn't because of Kate, and it wasn't because of what's his name? Thomas Kingston. They said it was personal, which sounded ominous and strange. And then March 4th, Princess pictured in car with mom Carol, they say, allegedly. March the 10th, Royals post a Royal post a sweet snap of, oh yeah, the Mother's Day Franken photo. And then the 11th, Kate admits she edited the photo. And then the 16th, royal fans spot princess at farm shop near Windsor. Fake. The 17th, onlookers see Kate watching her youngsters play sport. Now, there's no photos of that. There's no photos to support that. It's just what they say. Okay. And then, of course, the 18th, the Sun exclusively published video of Kate and Wills from 2 days prior. So, if I recall, they shared some old images of Kate with the kids. Then they purchased the farmer's market video. And then they gave the video to TMZ to share because remember, the British tabloids in their invisible contract, they will not use paparazzi with the royals unless it's Harry and Meghan. they won't use the paparazzi with the senior royals, so-called working royals. So they gave it to TMZ, right? And when I say they, I do mean the Sun, Rupert Murdoch, and them. Okay. And then, of course, the Sun, what's the last one? Kate released a video on March the 22nd revealing she has been receiving treatment for abdominal surgery. Remember, preventative cancer treatment, which, of course, the U.S. doctors say that there is no such thing as preventative cancer treatment or chemotherapy or something like that. All of this was some of the worst PR that has ever happened in the history of the royal family. This is some of the worst PR. This is bad. This is like King Charles. No, I'm sorry. Prince Charles, bad PR. This is the kind of sloppy stuff that Prince Charles used to do. Oh, Olivia Harris, thank you so much. I haven't been looking at the comments that much, but I'm glad I caught that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And hello to you too. Okay, let's move on. So let me see. At the time, Glow said, fake Kate timeline by the Sun. Now, this is what Glow said on the 28th. And if you know Glow, she makes those amazing videos that I love so much. When Prince William and Kate Middleton's media partner, The Sun, starts to engage in such blatant revisionist history with this fake Kate timeline, how can you blame people thinking there's a cover up aided by their friend Victoria Newton, the editor of The Sun? Well, yeah. So, as she says, how could you blame anybody? Because, again, this is Kensington Palace's doing. They really, really messed this up. Now, Channel 4 is planning to air a special Dispatches documentary on Saturday titled The King, the Prince, and Their Secret Millions. The title is now known after several days by Channel 4 documents not seen in public before revealed who's paying them and for what. Now, someone actually tried to say in the comments of this article that it's simple. It's the Crown Estate or the sovereign grant or whatever. Maybe that's not what they're talking about. Maybe they're talking about them Folsom and Mason bags of money, right? Maybe they're talking about the overseas accounts like Queen Elizabeth was known to have had. Maybe that's what they're talking about. There's a lot of wealth that family has been hiding for a long time. And especially when it comes to gifts, those courtiers that are the ones that receive all of the mail that comes to the queen and to we don't know what people are sending them, but we do know that the Duchy of Cornwall has literally fleeced the estates of dead people. That's one of the sources of money. So I don't know how deep they're going to get, but I hope that they shed some light, especially during these days of austerity that people are going through, this period of austerity and, of course, cutbacks and such. I hope that they will do something to convince people that this £500 million that they're spending on the royal family is a huge waste of money when they could give that money to necessary services to serve the public. So anyway, with that, you guys, I think I am done. Yes, I am. I am done. Thank you all so much. 2 hours, 30 minutes. I figured it would take about that long. But yeah, I really do appreciate it. Thank you for stopping in for a uh, somewhat early Royal Sussex. Sorry about yesterday when I couldn't seem to make things work. So I guess from here on out, I'm going to have to try to do this. It didn't go bad at all. As a matter of fact, I think it was a little smoother than normal. So maybe this is a good thing, right? And the fact that it doesn't seem to be noticeable on your end is another good indication that it went well. So, huh. All right. So, with that, you all, thank you very much. Thank you to the moderators for keeping this a safe space. Also, don't forget to keep Church Nellie in your prayers. Keep Church Nellie in your prayers. Also, there has been other people in the Sussex squad that has been dealing with cancer and other treatments going on. And of course, there has been there's been a lot. This 2024, there's been a lot going on. And with all of that, the leader of the free world will be selected next week. So, and also don't forget, there's only what, 4 shopping days to my birthday? I think it is. I ain't really paying attention that much. I ain't paying attention that much. I mean, it's just another day, but it's not too late to send, I don't know, a card or something. There is the mailing address. Remember, I don't live there, and any items that are shipped to this address are under the laws of the United States Postal Service, not to mention the fact that I have a friend that works nearby at an urgent care where they have x-ray equipment where I can make sure that it's not a smoldering turd or perhaps a air tag from Apple or something like that. So that's something to consider. And oh, what's that, Church Nelly? The Amazon wish list. I forgot all about that thing. Yeah, there's a Amazon wish list. Now, nobody is obliged to order anything from the Amazon wish list, which by the way, I haven't been to the mailbox in a while, but things are starting to pile up. I let me see. How many things do I have in my mailbox? Let me see. Oh boy. Yeah, it's starting to pile up. One, two. Oh, I see someone sent a card. I won't say from whom, but someone sent a card. I know I got one from Canada, which was very nice. But let me see, where is this one from? I'm so excited. uh wait. Ooh. I won't say the name, but this is from New York. Wow. I got a card from New York. That is so sweet. I'm excited. I am excited. And see, the way that this is possible is that they photograph everything that is shipped so I can actually see front and back, what they have shipped or what anyone has shipped. So, yeah, I can see all of that before I even get it. So, which is cool. Which is cool. So you don't have to go running over there and like, oh, did I get anything? What is it? Well, you can kind of see it before you even get it. Now that's technology for you. Everything is scanned and photographed before they give it to you. So again, thank you all very much. And if you want to forward a card or something like that, you can just send it to that address right there, Royal Sussex, 1440 West Taylor Street. Um, and you have to use that number 523 hashtag 523. So that's it. And oh, thank you, Olivia Harris. Thank you very much. Church Nelly, I don't know if you were watching yesterday, but did you see that Melania Trump took to the stage to support Donald Trump to campaign for him? So even though they don't seem like they're that close, she did. Did you see it? Did anybody see it? Should I share the photo? I'm not going to do that. That was so bad. I'm not going to use that photo again. Oh, TMCD. Thank you so much for that. We love you, Church Nelly. Oh, that is so sweet. Oh, you saw the photo yesterday. Oh, okay. Yeah, you have to look at yesterday's Royal Sussex, where you can see Melania taking to the stage, using some of the talents that she learned in Slovenia as a well, she went to college. She dropped out, but she did go to college. And now I know how tuition was made. So I cannot stand her. Ooh, I cannot stand her. Oh, ever since she was saying that Barack Obama needs to show his birth certificate. He needs to show his birth certificate. You ain't even supposed to be here. And you talking about him showing his birth certificate. She could have just left that alone. But by doing that, she demonstrated that she's just as racist as he is. Just as racist. He needs to show his birth certificate. The American people want to know. You ain't even supposed to be here, woman. You ain't supposed to be here. I know. That's the same as trying to say that Russia, China, and Iran has been spreading false rumors about Kate Middleton. It just doesn't make sense, does it? It just does not make sense. And yet they're still trying to make you believe it. Uh, well, let me see here. One could only hope. One could only hope. Yes. You mean when Melania was pretending like she was a little black girl from the South Side of Chicago speech? She left out everything but I was born a little black girl on the South Side of Chicago. That's the only thing that was missing from her speech. But for a while there, she had me convinced. I mean, I don't know if it's the gaslighting or just the power of suggestion, but it did kind of seem like Melania had some cornrows. I started seeing some cornrows and some barrettes, um, an afro pick with the little fist on it. I started seeing all kind of stuff when she was giving that speech. It really took me to another time and place. You couldn't tell me that wasn't a little black girl from the South Side of Chicago via by way of Slovenia. Okay. Anyway, love you guys. Thank you so much. Um Yeah, yesterday was a mess, but I'm glad I can make it work for today. So at least there's a way to get stuff done. But I was really thrown by that by the software yesterday. But we made it. I feel so much better about it. So I'm gonna go, and I will see you all tomorrow.